Welcome to this video on language features. I'm looking at similes, metaphors, and personification at the same time because they all use comparison for effect. So first up, similes. It's when two things are compared by saying they are like or as each other. So it's in the name, saying they're similar to each other. Now, you might already do this in your daily life. Your sister comes out of the bathroom and her makeup looks weird, and you say, "You look like a clown." That's your insult is actually using a simile. Have a think if you do that in any other examples. Here's one. She crumpled like a piece of paper in his hand. So it's comparing her to a piece of paper, her actions or her emotions or her feelings. So obviously he's hurt her in some way, or has been scary, or has insulted her. Here are some examples from the story Big Brother, Little Sister, in which there's two children running away from home. Hema felt like walking through the crowd was like struggling through a land of giants. What things are being compared here? Obviously, Hema's walking, or Hema's journey, is compared to walking through giants. And it tells you that in his experience, he must be quite afraid. All the thing he's feeling is what we would feel if we were walking through giants. So overwhelmed, scared of being stepped on, scared of being knocked over, feeling like you can do nothing against whatever's going to come your way. This other example, he felt eyes piercing him like needles. What two things are being compared here? And what do you think it means? Next up, metaphor is similar to a simile, but two things are compared by pretending one thing is the other. So again, you might do that when your mate eats all your chips and you say, "You're such a pig." So you're talking to him pretending he is a pig. "He is a snail" works in a very similar way. Or she wanted to help, but her legs became rubber. What things are being compared? Obviously, her legs are being compared to rubber, which is not very helpful if you're trying to walk away or stand on them if they're not stable. So it tells you that she must be scared or overwhelmed or maybe hurt. If I say he pounced on me, he's being compared to some sort of animal that pounces, a cat, a lion, a tiger. So you can picture that sort of behavior in your mind. And the rest of the story or sentence or paragraph will tell you why that picture is being used. Now, lastly, on metaphors and similes is this quick comparison. "You're a weasel." "Well, I'm like one." It shows that any comparison you make with a metaphor, you could turn into a simile by using the words like or as. Next up, personification. It's a type of metaphor where you pretend something that isn't human is behaving in a human way. So you're doing the comparison thing again, but you're comparing it to a person. That's why it's called personification. And the example here is, "My computer hates me." Computers can't hate, but people can hate. So we're personifying the computer. Even Thomas the Tank Engine stories is fully personification because all these non-person objects are behaving like people would with their opinions and their speaking and their feelings. If I said the train hurtled angrily towards me, that's again putting emotions on something that's not a person, that can't have emotions. And the point of that might be to show something about how scary it is, for example. Or the tree cried. Maybe that's trying to tell us how the environment is being damaged, or how the situation in the story is really sad. So notice how these all describe actions or feelings which are usually done or felt by persons. That's the key thing. Here's another example of personification from the story On the Sidewalk Bleeding, where Evan Hunter writes, "The knife hated only the jacket." And in this case, it tells us something about the character holding the knife, that actually the character hated the person wearing the jacket. And it makes you think about the ridiculousness of the situation. If it's silly for a knife to hate someone, maybe it's silly for people to hate others